Hey, welcome everybody to the I'll Be Living Life podcast. If you like the content, kindly hit the subscribe, like, and notification buttons. Today's special guest is Annie. She's an avid hiker, and she's also on Instagram. Her handle name is Annie.estp. That's ANNIE.estp. Welcome to the show, Annie.
Hi, Albie. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're most welcome. I'm glad you're joining me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of cool. Like I was checking out your page and notice a lot of hikes that you do.
Yeah.
Some of them I've been on, some I haven't been on. But I really like the look of your page. I like the way you guys are always out hiking, and I'm kind of the same way. So let's talk about a few of these hikes, and then maybe I'll jump into a couple of your pictures here as well. Is there any kind of like hikes that you recommend for local hikers here in Vancouver area?
Yeah. One thing that I noticed is the abundance of trails that are close to here
Oh
and
yeah.
that are easy to access. So it's
Mm-hmm.
really great if you're not too confident driving too far out.
Yep.
And there's also for every levels, which I also love because when I first started hiking, I was not ready to tackle the big mountains. So um, for a beginner, a local one would definitely be Jurassic Ridge. It's about a 50-minute drive, 50-minute to an hour drive
Yeah, I'd
out
say so.
close to Squamish. And that one is fairly easy. It's not too challenging, and
Mm-hmm.
you're rewarded with a great view. So, and you're not alone. I think it's a fairly busy one. So if ever you don't feel confident with being on your own for a long period of time in the woods, this is
Yeah,
perfect.
I was out there today, actually,
Hmm.
as we are talking pre-recording here. I was
Yeah.
actually did that one today, and unfortunately, it was a little cloudy today. But what I
Yeah.
recommend is don't go when it's wet. If it's had a
Right.
big downpour the night before, or if it's raining that day, because it does get a little slippery on some of those rocks and
Right.
the roots of the trees. I noticed there was a bunch, not as much as Dog Mountain, but there's a
Hmm.
lot on this one as well, and it's kind of
Yeah.
steep at some points. But you're right. I mean, if you kind of just take your time, you could probably do the whole Jurassic Ridge in like an hour and a half.
Yeah, totally.
And you're right, you get a really nice view of the house sound and everything. Yeah, it's really good. And you're absolutely right. There's a lot of hikers there, and there's a lot of rock climbers there. So
Yes.
there's always people around. So yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. So that's a great way to stay safe if you're not confident. But like you said, the rocks makes it slippery. And there's, I don't know if you walk through the little rope section to get down.
Yeah, we did actually. Yeah, we
Yeah.
went down the ropes and metal
Yeah.
stairs that were were they metal? I guess so. Metal
Yes.
stairs or
Yeah.
ladder, not a stairs, but ladder.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ladders.
that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, we did go down
Yeah.
that way.
So that can be slippery, like you said. So
Hmm.
sometimes people are not super comfortable with that, which I understand. So that's one thing to be noted. But otherwise, I think the trail is pretty easy to
Hmm.
navigate
Yep, yep.
compared to others. Yeah. That
Yeah, I
one is
agree.
gorgeous.
Okay.
Hmm.
How about another hike?
If you want to stay even closer, Mount Seymour has tons of trails. I know that Dog Mountain is a popular one, but if you
Hmm.
want a little bit more challenge with a really great view, if you keep going, you can get to Pump Peak or First Peak.
Okay.
I think there's a picture on my Instagram that I did it in winter. A lot of people, again, there are people snowshoeing or skiing down, which was great.
Hmm.
And you get a really beautiful view and you're surrounded by tall trees. So it's another really great one to do. And it's not super long. It takes about 4 hours.
Okay.
So not an all day hike, that's for sure.
That's hilarious. So I'm born and raised here. I've never heard of
Mhm.
Pump Peak, and I've done Dog Mountain. So go figure, right? Like
Yeah.
shows you how much I'm paying attention. But yeah, I'm actually looking at pictures on Instagram right now about Pump Peak.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's very nice. It is very
It's
nice.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because a lot of people say that to me, or they're like, how do you know more about trails than I do? I've lived here my whole life. And the truth is, all I do once I get back home is search for the next hike. So
Yeah.
you learn a lot about the trails around.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Okay, and you were mentioning one more suggestion that you were going to do here.
Yeah. So that one is definitely for the more experienced and confident hiker, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
That one is called Evans Peak. It's
Okay.
out at Maple Ridge.
Yep.
So if you take the West Canyon Trail and then take the Evans Peak Trail, it'll take you to the peak there. So it's pretty steep.
Mm-hmm. I've seen
And
pictures of that one. Yeah.
yeah, it's gorgeous. It's really beautiful, but it's steep. So if you have bad knees, I have bad knees, so I always carry poles with me.
My hands up too. Yes, I have bad knees as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes with hiking. I think we're making it worse, but
Yes.
there's ways around it.
Yeah.
But that one has rope sections too, so and those are pretty tricky to navigate. So I would say go if you're comfortable with that.
Okay. How long is that
hmm
hike?
So that one took us about 6 hours, but
Okay.
again, it's because I have bad knees, so coming down is always a whole lot slower for me than for regular people. But I think 5 hours should be enough for someone who is not dealing with those issues.
Okay. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah, I think I got all mine from sports. So I
Yeah.
played a lot of sports when I was younger, so now my knees are really
hmm
paying a toll on it.
I
But
know.
yeah, the hiking doesn't help. Like, I mean, even today, I mean, it's healthy for you, but then again, it beats up on your joints a little bit. So
Yeah,
when I was
definitely.
coming down on Jurassic Ridge there today, even that I felt a little bit. And so I
hmm
just have to, I go a lot quicker going up than I do coming down. So
Yeah,
yeah,
totally. I don't
yeah,
know if you use poles, but they definitely help me, at least with stability, so I don't put as much pressure on my joints
yeah.
as I'm coming down. It helps. I mean, I look like an old lady, but it helps me, so
Yeah, you're
that's
far
what
from an old
counts.
lady.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, like I like a lot of your pictures here. Definitely like the one of I think it's called Cham Park, but like or I used to call it Mount Cheam, but
hmm
someone corrected me before and said no, it's actually Mount Cham, I think.
Sham.
But anyways, there's this really gorgeous shot that you have here of
hmm
you and your buddy hiking with a dog with you as well.
Yeah.
How long does that hike take? Like, I really like that hike. I want to do that hike, but I've never been able to because I heard you need a 4x4 to get up there. And
Yeah.
I have one buddy that has the 4x4, but
hmm
he's been quite busy lately, so we're just kind of
hmm
waiting and prolonging our journey.
Yeah. Well, you heard right. You definitely do need a 4x4. Just as we were driving down, we saw a bunch of cars that were stuck, or I saw a car that was flipped.
Wow.
So it's not ideal. Well, it also comes with knowing how to navigate those really deep dips
Yeah.
and going around them instead of like right straight for it. So I think the drive there is the most grueling part, but the hike itself is fairly moderate. I
Mm-hmm.
think it took us about 3 hours.
Well, that's not bad, eh?
It's not bad, yeah, 3, 4 hours, I think. Again, because I'm a little slower coming down, but
Mm-hmm.
it's gorgeous. Along the way, there's so many pictures that I've taken where it's just incredible. Wherever you look, you're surrounded by wildflowers. There's that little lake. It's just really beautiful. So I definitely recommend that if you can make it up there with a 4x4 that you do it. It's but it does get busy there,
Does it?
surprisingly. Oh yeah, it was really busy. It was difficult to get a spot to sit and have a snack or to take pictures.
Mm-hmm.
But again,
Strange because it's so inaccessible almost, right?
I know. I honestly have no idea how half of the people there made it, but
Yeah.
they did. But it was, yeah, it got really busy. Though we did go pretty early, as always, maybe by 9 a.m. The parking lot, we took the last or second to last spot.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and then you can't park along the road because it's so narrow, and then there's a cliff on your right side, so it's hard to find enough space already to navigate. So wouldn't recommend parking along the road.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is it pretty steep that hike or is it not too bad?
there is an incline, but I would say that it's moderate. So there are some spots where it's more flat, so you get to catch your breath there and
Okay.
relax your knees a little bit, and then it starts again. So it's fairly moderate. I think anyone could do it.
I guess the truck basically does most of the work for you, right? Because yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
it's about a 40-minute drive from the Chilliwack Lake Road. So, well, if you go slowly and carefully, so you're already gaining a lot of elevation just through the driving. So, getting to the top is not much more.
Oh, okay. Yeah, very
hmm
cool. So I noticed you've done Steelhead Falls. I've done that one.
Yeah.
That was kind of neat where you can actually walk down to the falls there.
Yeah.
You've done Raleigh Falls. I've done that
hmm
one too. I actually have a very similar picture of yours here.
Do you?
Yeah. Well, you know, how much has it changed, right? When we take
Yeah,
that picture.
exactly.
It looks like you were out in my area. You look like you did the Cascade Falls as well.
Yeah.
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 And I've seen another picture here that you went to Cricket Falls.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
That's a pretty awesome one too.
Yeah, that was beautiful there. I
Mm-hmm.
love going to waterfalls when it's raining because you don't depend on clouds to have a view or not.
Mm-hmm.
So those were all on rainy days, and that day the waterfall was just super intense because it was super rainy and it was gorgeous. It was worth the drive.
Yeah, no kidding.
Um, yeah,
That's one of my favorite hikes actually.
yeah,
Yeah, I really like
yeah.
that hike. Yeah. And
Even the trail itself is very enjoyable, I find.
yeah, so actually when I went with my buddy, that was the time that that kayaker got scared by a grizzly. The grizzly actually
Yeah,
jumped in the water and chased the kayaker,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And that was around that area too. And then
yeah.
they saw that grizzly up around that trail. So I'm like,
Oh,
holy smokes. Like it
mm-hmm.
said grizzly bear warning and I'm like, oh no. Great, right? Like that's the
Yeah,
last thing I want to bump into is a freaking grizzly.
I know.
But anyways, the two of us went all the way up to the top. We saw nobody until the top, and then we
Mm,
saw this couple that was standing there. And I'm usually pretty friendly and talkative to whoever I bump into. And then I
yeah.
said, "Oh, hey, good morning," and I freaked them both out. So they just jumped, and they were like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, man." And I was like, "No, no, it's okay." He goes, "No,
Yeah.
it's just all these grizzly bear
On
warnings,"
edge.
and I go,
Yeah.
"No, trust me, I'm the same, right?" But luckily, I saw him before he saw me, or else I
Yeah.
would have probably leapt myself too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I don't think grizzlies are super friendly and tell you to have a good morning before
Oh hell
they
no!
they chase you.
But any sign of noise or anything like that, it's gonna
Yeah.
freak anybody out, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Uh,
I remember, I think it was like late summer of last year because I think we went shortly after that.
mm-hmm.
And we were also super on edge. I forgot what we heard. It was I think maybe a rock or something like that, and we both jumped.
Oh,
And we were like, should we keep going? Are we stopping? It's always a reminder that you're in nature.
and you're
You're
not
not in
alone.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
This
not
is not your
alone.
home.
No.
Yeah.
If you think you're alone, you're really not alone because
Yeah.
there's animals out there. Usually they tend to hear us first and then they kind of just bugger off,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Have you done the Saw Blades Falls out in Coquitlam here?
I have,
Okay,
yes.
good, good. Okay.
Yeah, that's a beautiful one. I just got confused with the trail and we ended up taking a little off trail, I guess,
Okay.
man-made path, and it turned out to be really steep, but we made it. It was gorgeous.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I think there's a
Hmm.
trail that leads you to Coquitlam Lake as well, that you
Yes.
can kind of see the reservoir from there.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did that one too, which was beautiful.
Is that one
Again,
nice?
yeah, it's gorgeous. We did it in the winter, so it was really nice to see the mountains covered in snow.
Okay.
But I definitely want to do it again in the summer. I feel like it's a totally different view.
Yeah. No, no. I That's one trail I haven't done, and I'm probably about I don't know 7 minute drive to the trailhead here,
Oh, wow.
but yet I
Yeah,
haven't been there yet. So
you definitely have to do it.
yeah, I'll have to do it. But there's so many of those cougar warnings here and bear warnings here this last year. So I've been kind
Yeah,
of like tentative about going these places.
I know.
As you shared with me earlier,
Yeah.
you can share that with our watchers here or our listeners here. So what happened? You ran into one of these animals?
Yeah, so it was really early morning. My friends and I thought it would be a great idea to be first on the trail. And it was in Mission, I believe. Yeah, it was
Okay.
in Mission. And so first on the trail, we're walking, but we're quiet. We're just not having a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, we hear something just growl at us.
Oh God.
And then we're like panicky, right? We were like 2 minutes into the trail.
Okay.
And we're like, what should we do? Should we stop? Should we keep going? And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, we're gonna have to be loud about it. Like, just start talking and maybe play some music, make some noise to scare it away.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave my friend a pole. I'm like, if it comes to that, here's your weapon.
Yeah.
I'll
Fight
have
for our
my own.
lives. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't sound like we weren't sure if it was a bear growl. We weren't sure what a cougar, like
Yeah.
what the sound it would make. So I was like, whatever it is that growled at us, it was not happy. Maybe we woke them up or we
Yeah.
just walked in without announcing ourselves. So that was definitely scary. We decided to keep going,
Mm-hmm.
and then as we kept going, maybe 5 minutes later, more hikers started to come through, and we're like, we're not being obnoxious with our music. We're just trying to scare whatever growled at us.
Yeah.
And luckily, it wasn't an encounter where we saw them, but it definitely saw or heard us,
Yeah.
which was even scarier because we didn't know where to look or what to look for.
Did you actually catch an eye of this? Was it a cougar or was it a bear? You don't know.
We're not sure. I think like if it was a bear, we would have seen it because they're pretty big, right?
Yes,
But
usually.
the growl was so close to us. My friend thinks it's a cougar. I'm not sure what the sound that a cougar makes,
Yeah.
but she would know better. So I choose to believe her.
Yeah, yeah, no
I
kidding.
was like, hey, if you say that's what it is, let's just try to do our best to scare it away. It worked. We've seen some bears at a distance,
So
but
have I. Yeah.
yeah, but they're usually they get scared once they see you and they run off, which is it's kind of cute, kind of sad.
Yeah, yeah.
Other than that, I haven't had any like super scary encounters.
Yeah, no, the bears I can handle.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
too worried about them. They're kind of like, I don't know, squirrels, almost like huge squirrels, where when they see you, they do kind of just skittish away,
Yeah.
or they just mosey along like they don't really care. It's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever, dude, you're not doing anything to scare us or whatever. But I don't
Yeah.
want to run into a mom and cubs because
Yeah.
I've had them in the front of my house before, and one of the mothers actually got pretty aggressive with like one of our neighbors here, and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, holy smokes, like it almost like was to charging at the person,
Oh
and it
wow.
stood up on its hind legs, and I'm like, nope,
Oh.
nope,
Yeah, no thanks.
no,
I
not
think that's one thing that scares me about Coquitlam is how they're so close to you
everywhere.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're everywhere. My friend has them in her backyard and it's like business as usual. And I'm like, that's scary to me.
Yeah. The first year, and I said this in my previous podcast too, the first year that I moved to Coquitlam, I actually had 15 bears that I've seen that year.
Oh
Like,
my gosh.
like all in one season. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
holy smokes. And now with the housing going up closer, up the mountain sort of thing, I
Mm-hmm.
still see them, but not as often. Like, so I've been seeing maybe, I think already this year, I've already seen five. So this year's been a little
Wow.
bit heavy already.
Yeah.
But normally, the last maybe 2019, 2018, maybe I would see like three or four for the year. But this year's already been
Wow.
pretty high. It's already been
Yeah.
five. Yeah.
I'm kind of worried about that because I also heard, I don't know if you heard, but Mount Frome was closed about
Yes.
a week ago
About
because
a
there
week
was a
ago.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
the bear swiping at people. So I'm wondering, like, this boom in hiking, is it making them more comfortable and seeing us as harmless? And I'm wondering how that's going to affect their behavior towards us.
Yeah. I'm not sure. You're right, though. But it
Yeah.
seems weird because for us this year, like there's always cougars coming down. There's always cougar.
Hmm.
Like I live in the Burke Mountain area. There's always cougars coming down. And when they come down, they'll just kind of walk around, roam around for a bit, and then they're gone once they see people. But this
Mm.
past year, they came down and they didn't leave. They were like
Hmm.
hunting dogs around here.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
yeah, there was one that jumped over my neighbor's fence and snatched their
Oh.
puppy and took off. Yeah,
Oh,
it
no.
was insane, and she was only out there for, I kid you not, maybe 6 seconds, and it pounced over, and
Hmm.
it was like it was stalking already.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah, and then they show a family of four. So there was a mother cougar with three adolescents actually roaming the streets, just not a care in the
Hmm.
world,
Hmm.
and they never left. And then I heard that one of them was stalking a teenager going to the middle school down here,
Oh,
and
wow.
then they finally found one of them and they euthanized it, and I think they did catch the other ones as well. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's a little bit sad because we are living in their
Yeah,
territory, and I
absolutely.
don't ever want to see them put down an animal. But if it's ever
Hmm.
aggressive, I guess there's a lot of people with young children around, and their pets, and that's the scary part. I feel
Yeah,
more sorry about the bears because they don't know any better. They're just coming down to
yeah,
look for food. They usually leave the
yeah,
humans alone.
yeah,
But it's more the cougars are more a little bit more scary than bears, if you
yeah,
ask me. But
for
that's
sure. They
that.
do tend to be aggressive just by nature. When bear, it's more so like as a self-preservation
Yes.
reaction, right?
Yes.
So it's a little bit more heartbreaking when it's a bear because you're like, yeah, he probably was looking for food or
Yeah.
was protecting himself. So it's like it's really difficult to navigate like conciliating us being in their homes, but
Mm-hmm.
also them becoming too comfortable and becoming harmful to us. So
Yeah.
it's very sad. Yeah.
I've seen bears here with tags in their ears, and
Oh.
they're that means they've been relocated once already. So
Oh,
if
okay.
they've been tagged, they get relocated, and if they get caught again and they're not scared of humans, then they kind of put
Yeah.
them they euthanize them. So we, as neighbors in this neighborhood, we don't say anything when we see like bears around here usually, unless it's really aggressive to people. But if it's not aggressive, we just let them kind of just do their thing and get out of here. And we try to scare them off, like we make loud noises. Some of them, like just recently, a couple of months ago, we had one just in my back trail here, and I was trying to scare him away, and he didn't really care. He didn't really do anything. But there's no point in, like, I don't want to see him get euthanized or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I would rather have him just, walk and get out of here slowly. But
Yeah.
it's just unfortunate. I don't wish that on any of those bears. We are in their territory. So
Yeah.
So have you done like Joffrey Lake or anything like that?
I have,
Yeah,
which is funny because I just mentioned it in a group,
Mm-hmm.
and because you were asking what is an overrated hike, and I was like, Joffrey Lakes I find only because it's gorgeous, but I
Mm-hmm.
find that it's so busy
Oh, it's
and
packed there.
it's packed. Yeah, even
Yeah.
if you start at like 7 a.m., it's like already full.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of like loud music and all of that. So what I like about hiking is feeling completely lost in nature.
Yes. Yeah. Me too.
And the view itself kind of does it, but it just changes everything when you hear the creeks and the waterfalls and
Mm-hmm.
the birds, and you're like you really feel like you're out of town. But if there's so many people and noises,
Yeah.
it's very difficult to achieve that feeling. So I'm very mixed feelings about it. It was gorgeous, but I don't think it's a hike that I would do again.
Yeah, I actually stayed up with my buddies up at Whistler, so we stayed overnight, and then we got an early start to it. But it was kind of busy already. But then when we were coming back, there was mounds of people going up there,
Oh yeah.
and I was like, oh, like how can you enjoy this?
Uh-huh.
You'd have to go. Like my recommendation is you have to go super early.
Yeah, that's true. We got there, I think, in the morning, but not super early, probably closer to lunchtime.
Okay.
And it was so packed. And I saw there was some buses dropping tourists, I
Tourists
guess,
off,
or
yeah, because they go to the first
yeah,
lake, right? The lower lake.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, which made me question a little bit safety. I guess it's not too bad because it's busy again if something happens, but
Yeah.
seeing people in flip-flops and all of that really worries me because you can like hurt your toe
Oh
or
yeah.
slip as you fall. So
Yeah.
it was an interesting experience, but I would probably go there either super early, like you said, or
Yeah.
like late and overnight there.
Yeah.
If you can, I don't know if you can.
You can. There's a tent area there. There's a camping
Oh,
area
okay.
that down by the upper Joffrey Lakes. There, you
Hmm.
could actually climb. Did you climb the cliff to go up to get a look at the all three lakes?
Yes, I did. We
Yeah.
did all three lakes. It was nice.
So you got to the
Um,
top and you can see all three lakes, right?
oh no, I didn't do that.
Oh,
We
okay.
just checked each and every lake, and
Yeah.
then once we reached the third one, we just made our way back down.
Yeah, because you could walk up another 20 minutes or 30 minutes and
Oh,
actually get a view of all three lakes.
oh,
Yeah,
nice.
it's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
definitely have to do that. Maybe on a weekday, on Wednesday when there's no one there.
I don't even think it's open right now.
No, I think it's still closed. Well, it's not like we can leave
No,
our
exactly.
region right now, but
No.
maybe sometime in the summer when things are open back up, I guess they'll try to open it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So you're saying you're actually from Montreal, right?
I am. Yes.
So you moved over here a few years ago?
Yeah, I did. So I was born and raised there, and I moved here 6 years ago.
Very cool. Yeah.
And the weather definitely was the main reason, I guess, or the first reason that attracted me to BC. And when I started researching and seeing all those like mountains and lakes and just the beauty, I just felt immediately attracted to this province. And I was
Yeah.
like, I have to go. I have to leave everything behind and move to BC.
Yeah. I wouldn't be able to
Yeah.
handle the cold there.
Oh
I
my gosh. Yeah.
No, no
You,
thank you.
no, not at all. My friend and I were just talking about that when it's like, because we were talking about the long winters here, and people like to say that it's like, oh, but it's not super cold, but it's rainy and gloomy.
Mhm.
But I was like, yeah, the winters in Montreal are kind of bright. You get a lot of sunshine, but when it's -40, you don't go out to enjoy the sun anyway,
No, no,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
You just stay inside in the warmth. So I think it's a fair trade-off where I still go on hikes here when it's raining. I still go for runs. I still bike. So I feel
Yeah.
like that's something that I'm willing to give up for a few months and then get epic summers in the mountains.
Yeah, and I saw you did the Ride to Conquer Cancer there.
I did,
Good for
yes.
you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It was a very, I would say, enlightening experience just to hear people. We actually rode with someone who has cancer currently.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very inspiring to see people fighting through it. And it was a great way to give back, I guess, to those people and
Yeah.
help. Yeah.
I have a couple of buddies that actually do it as well, and
Hmm.
one helps promote it. Very, very, very good. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, keep on shooting your pictures. You have some great
Yeah.
shots, and like I said, I'm going to promote it all on the YouTube podcast here for others to see. Right. So
Thank
I
you.
hope you enjoyed yourself today.
I definitely did. Thanks again for having me. It was
No,
nice to share.
yeah, thanks for joining me. It's really nice of you as well. So if you're not following Annie, give her a follow on Instagram. She goes by ANNIE.ESTP. And that's it for this week, and I'll catch you guys next week. Thanks.